Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second podcast episode of Teen Talk. And I know I've been away for a really long time. I've not recorded an episode for over a month, but I'm back and I'm here with a very special guest. I'm here with Miss Marina Krivonossova. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, I mean, it's so nice to be here. First of all, we met through LinkedIn, and I've seen your LinkedIn profile, and it's super impressive and super diverse. So, and it's so nice to be here because we've only been connecting on LinkedIn, and to finally speak to you here is a very exciting and wholesome moment.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely nice to take the conversation off of text because I feel like it's a completely different dynamic when you get to, see each other and hear each other, like so much better for connection.
Of course. So, the first thing that I noticed on your page was that you said that you weren't always on the path to being in the content and content creation and marketing field. And you were actually into political science and economics at, assuming school. So, content creation was kind of like your side hustle. So I just want to ask you, like, how did you figure out that, marketing and content creation was for you? Like, what was the turning point? What led to you figuring it out that, marketing is what I want to do?
So I think I honestly knew it for a very long time. I just never admitted it to myself and I never did anything about it. Just to give you a bit of background, I'm originally from Russia. My family is very STEM oriented. So, sciences, tech, that kind of stuff. And whether it be fortunately or unfortunately, I've always been very creative. I've always loved writing, art, that sort of stuff. But growing up in the environment where I grew up in the Silicon Valley in California, it wasn't really seen as a real career opportunity, I would say. It was like you can write on the side, you can do your art on the side, but it's not a real job, so to say. So when it was time for me to go to school, I kind of compromised in a way. I said I want to study business economics because it kind of, to me, it was kind of the middle between STEM and the creative side of things. I was like, I am good at numbers, but I also like the idea of business. I feel like I can get creative with that. I feel like I can kind of be more free with that. So business economics made sense. But when I went into business econ, I was so close to graduating with my bachelor's, and I took one international relations class, and that completely changed the trajectory of my career. I remember calling my dad after and being like, I'm changing majors. I want to do political science. And my dad was like, Marina, you are so close to graduating. Come on. And I was like, yeah, but business econ isn't really where my heart lies. So I switched majors after hearing a lecture on the topic of human trafficking in Orange County, which is where I was living and going to school at the time. And I realized how prominent of an issue it was. So I was like, I'm on a mission now. I want to help to combat it. Because, it's not something you think of living in California. You think it's like a distant issue. It's not part of my life when it's really happening in your own backyard every day. And that's just crazy to think about. So I went down that path. I got my bachelor's in international relations. And when it came time for grad school, I eventually did my master's in political science. I wrote my thesis on anti-human trafficking. And the whole time you're probably thinking, like, where does marketing come into this? And the thing is, I always did marketing jobs on the side throughout all of this. I was either creating a website for someone, or I was managing a social media page, or I was writing blogs, or I was doing translation work. It was always something related to languages, creativity, marketing. But again, in my environment, it was always seen as a side hustle. It was always seen as just a job for now, a part-time job. So that's how I perceived it as well, until I got my master's and I was looking for work in political science. And as a foreigner in the Netherlands, it was really hard because I don't speak Dutch. I speak better Dutch now, but especially then I spoke no Dutch. I had no Dutch passport. I had an American passport. And for jobs that I wanted in political science, it just wasn't fitting. So I was like, okay, kind of have to reevaluate. Do I go back? What do I do? And I decided, well, what if I took a chance on marketing? What if I tried to turn it into a real career for myself after doing it for years kind of on the side? So that's what I did. And I've been doing that for years now. And yeah, recently I finally took another chance on myself and I opened my own B2B content marketing agency, again, after trying a lot of things in marketing and kind of seeing, do I like this? Am I good at this? Where can I add the most value? And B2B content marketing just made the most sense. And yeah, here I am about a month into my business launch, and I'm really excited about where it's going to go.
First of all, congratulations on that. I mean, you've definitely put a lot of hard work onto that. So, congratulations. And another thing I want to say is you're definitely breaking stereotypes with, even where I come from, I'm Indian. So, it's always considered to do, when you're born, you have like four choices, either a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or something more into that field. But I love how you've broken the stereotypes, and you're doing what you love, which I think matters more than anything, or what people think. And another thing that I want to say is, and another thing that I've noticed is that there was a time in your life where you were an immigrant and you received very little guidance in your career, and there was a point of time where you were lost and you felt uncertain and you were like confused, what do I really want to do in life? So, and a lot of people today, and very close people to me, also feel that. Like, a lot of people have told me, I'm so confused what I want to do. I do this as a thing, but I'm not sure what I want to make a career out of it. And I just want to know, how did you come out of that phase of being lost and uncertain? And what would you tell people struggling with this problem?
Well, the first thing I would say is I'm still lost and uncertain. I mean, I feel like I'm going in the right direction. I'm finally pursuing what I want to pursue. But at the same time, that feeling of uncertainty and that feeling of confusion, I don't think it ever fully goes away. Because you're always like, is this really where I see myself? Like in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? I think the best advice I can give is not to fight that uncertainty, but really let it guide you in a way, and also kind of learn to live with it, like coexist with the fear, the confusion, the uncertainty, because it's just a part of life. And I think that confusion also kind of opens the door to, thinking about what else could I do instead of being like, okay, I'm a teacher, I did my education in this, and I'm going to do this until I retire one day. When you have that confusion, when you have those uncertain thoughts, you're like, I'm doing this, but maybe I could also do that, or maybe I could try that. So I think my best piece of advice is learn to coexist with it and embrace it and see it as a positive and not a negative.
Amazing, amazing. And it's always good to explore and always take up volunteering opportunities or any opportunity in that sense. I mean, just the other day, one of my friends was telling me that she wanted to go into a specific field, but due to some very unforeseen circumstances, she had to shift to Dubai from where she was. She got into a university, but she had to shift here, and she had to also switch her career because of that, because of course the markets differ. So I mean, she's just right now just confused. She does not know what to do. She's in a very different field. I mean, if you ask me to go into a field like law, I'm going to be confused too. So I understand that. And I just told her, try exploring things. And I wish the best for you, actually. So yeah, it's always good to
Absolutely.
explore. Yeah.
I definitely think that's true. And you never know what you'll like. You know what I mean? Like, if I asked myself when I was, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, like, do you want to be a marketer? The answer was no. Like, I want to be a lawyer. Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer at that point. So, I mean, it changes so much. And then you try something and you realize either you're good at it or you like it or you want to learn more about it. So, that's something I would definitely say too. Like, don't be afraid of trying new things, whether you're in high school, college, recently graduated, I can't talk, or graduated like 20 years from now. I think it doesn't matter. I think the best thing you can do for yourself is be open to trying those new things because you never know what'll stick.
True, very true. And you've done that as well. Like, I'm gonna mention this a million times, but I'm really impressed by your LinkedIn. Like I've seen that you were also you were also a podcast host for an NGO, which is amazing. Like, and you've also been a tutor, a mentor. It's so nice to see so much. You're just trying out so many things. You're adventurous. So amazing to see that.
Thank you. I definitely do like trying new things because especially with my path, I've really found myself doing one thing and then another thing and realizing that what I thought would be for me wasn't for me at all. So I think in everything I do, I try more things on the side because you never know what'll stick.
True. Like, I want to share a story as well. So, since childhood, I've always been into sports because I grew up with my brother who loves cricket and he loves football as well. So, we would play together and stuff. And slowly I started liking the sport as well. So just recently, like 2 3 years back, I started playing the sport, and I was like, okay, wow, I really like this. I probably want to become a professional in this. And I really started liking it. But then, I just and then I had to pick out subjects in school which I want to study, so I chose marketing, business, entrepreneurship, and I noticed I was really enjoying that as well. So, and then slowly I noticed that okay, I'm losing a little bit of interest in cricket. And personally, I've always been that I love studying kind of person because I love learning new things. I love gaining knowledge. I like doing courses, especially in business. Like, it's really fun to me. So I was like really struggling to find the interest back into cricket. And so I was like, you know what, I think, like, I really had to, push myself to show up to matches, to show up to training. And I was like, it does not have to be this way. Maybe I just am more passionate about business. I'm just more passionate about more different things. And so I stopped playing cricket and I'm focusing more on my business, and not my business, but focusing more on, learning new things. And it's just been a very amazing journey after I understood what I'm really passionate about. So
Yeah, and I totally love that. I like the idea that you can try something, you can go into it, full force, and then realize, hey, maybe this wasn't it. And sometimes later you realize, okay, maybe I do want to do it again. Because I've had those things as well. Like I was really into poetry for a long time, and I would write so many poems. And then for a couple of years, I was like, maybe I'm over this. Like maybe my heart's not in it. And then out of nowhere, I picked up the pen and paper and I was at it again. So I feel like maybe it could be like that for you. Maybe one day you're going to be like, huh, maybe I do want to get back into cricket, or maybe you won't. And I don't know, you'll get into volleyball or something, but you never know. So yeah, it's wonderful that you're open to those opportunities.
yeah, it's always amazing to explore more. So I mean, getting back again, where you've started your own marketing agency, Retold, right? Congratulations on that. And previously, you've, also worked in the PR and marketing department. And over the years, I'm pretty sure there might have been a stage where you've been burnt out. And I would say there has been a stage. Of course, burnout is very common. And, you've had a lot of workload on you. So I just want to know, and I ask this to a lot of people, but I just want to know your opinion on the so called hustle culture, and what do you do to maintain a very healthy work life balance?
So I think for me personally, hustle culture isn't it. Like I'm not going to be ever the person, I don't think, who's, working on their business just 24/7. I really think I work to live and not live to work. I
Wow.
really enjoy what I do. I'm really excited to have my own company, and I really think that I can make a difference in people's companies with what I do. But at the same time, I mean, my family's incredibly important to me. And things like traveling and being able to experience the world and different cultures, it's a huge driving force in everything I do from a professional point of view. So I think for me, it's finding that balance where I can keep adding value to people professionally, where I can keep growing as a professional, getting better as a marketer, but at the same time, not neglecting the people I love and not neglecting myself. And that is both from a, mental and physical point of view. as well as from just a life point of view. Like sometimes, holidays come and I might be tempted to, just push through this project, just kind of skip Christmas, skip New Year's. But then I tell myself, hey, in 10 years, you're going to look back on this and you're never going to look at yourself and say, wow, I really wish I worked more. But you are going to say, hey, I wish I spent more time with my mom because she's not around anymore. You're going to say, hey, I really wish I spent more time with my sister because now she lives in a different country. Now she's far away. So to me, prioritizing the people I love and the things I love will always be a big part of everything I do, even if I'm running my own company. And I know not everyone's like that. I know I'm connected with a lot of people on LinkedIn, especially, who are huge proponents of hustle culture. And they love the idea of grinding. And to them, like work is everything. But I think what's important for everyone as an individual is to find what works for them. And if you're that person who needs to work, who needs to have that kind of driving force in your life, then that's awesome. And if you can make it work without losing your mind, that's wonderful. But I know that's not me. I know I need that balance. I know I love certain things that are way outside of my scope of work. So I really have to consciously make a choice every day to, focus on my work, but also focus on the other things in life that matter to me.
Of course. And I feel like, when you just take that break, you can just recharge better. You don't have
Yeah.
to wait till like the last stage where you're completely tired and then take a break. That's a mistake I've made. That's a mistake I know some people have made. But that's the point. You should always, try taking a break a bit earlier so that you can recharge and come back stronger.
Exactly. And I know so many people in my life who are like that, especially those who are still students or who are doing some studying on the side, where they're like, I have to study late every night. I have to get an A on every exam. And they drive themselves to the point where their health starts to suffer. And at that point, it's not too late to save it, but at that point, you've really gotten kind of past the point where you should have tried to make, changes. So that's always something I try to pay attention to as well. It's kind of like drinking water. They say you should be drinking water all the time, not just when you're thirsty. And it's the same with taking breaks. You should always be taking breaks, not just when you're completely burnt out and exhausted.
Of course, of course. Self-care and self-love comes before absolutely everything. Like, it's just something we need to start practicing more.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So I just want to end off this very interesting conversation with a last question. It's a very personalized question. So that's why I kept it as the ending part of this episode. So I just want to know, what is your definition of a successful woman? Because usually we define success as, oh, having the latest phone or having the latest I don't know, bag or your latest shoes. But I feel it's more than that. Like, your material possessions are not a definition of your success, and it will never be. So I just want to know your definition. What makes you be like, oh, okay, this is success?
So that's a really good question. And I think it has a lot of layers. But as you say, I don't think success is defined from a materialistic perspective. The way I see a successful woman or a successful person, it comes down to two things. I think it comes down to being healthy, because no matter what you do in life or no matter where you are, health is really the foundation of everything. And that means from a mental and physical perspective. So I'd say it means being healthy. And I also think it means living life on your own terms. So that means doing the work you want to do. It means traveling where you want to, when you want to, because you want to. It means working in the field that brings you joy, where you think you can add value, not doing it because somebody else told you to. So I think it comes down to health and living a life that's built on your own terms.
Course, of course. I mean, it's actually really sad to see that a lot of people are forced into a career, whereas I don't think it should be like that. You should do what you love and what makes you happy, and that's just gonna drive you to be more passionate about what you do. So yeah, I really loved your answer. And with that, do we end the session of today and the episode? Thank you so much for being here and joining me in this episode, and looking forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.